Yeah, for with Asia Pacific's own Macquarie Bank. I mean, what a fantastic peek that was so into the inner workings of a company so determined to be on the front foot with AI.
Absolutely. And those kind of strategic insights from big players are just invaluable. And folks, if you want to tune in with us yesterday, you won't miss out on all this good stuff because we will make sure all the sessions are available for you to watch on demand in a couple of days. Speaking of which, so let's check out what's in store for the first half of our today program, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. So today, as we do with the Cloud Technical Series, we're getting technical. Whether you're a startup or a more traditional enterprise, these sessions are designed to help you accelerate your business and create new customer value through that AI native approach. This is a full day of strategy, use cases, guidance, and helpful tips.
And we are launching straight into our AI Builds Forum keynotes. Leaders from next generation of AI unicorn, Lovable, Reblitz, Fireworks AI, or Halogenetics, who will all talk strategy from their AI playbooks.
Yeah, and then we'll move into a fascinating fireside chat with Priyank Swarup from Excel, one of APAC's most successful VCs. Priyank will share super valuable insights on scaling across diverse markets, fundraising strategies, and leveraging AI for growth in the generative growth engine session. And then we'll have our solution lead, Catherine Wang, who will take us through using Vertex AI as your AI launchpad. Catherine's live sessions are always a Cloud Technical Series highlight, so don't miss out on that one.
Great stuff. So from there, our modern infrastructure tech lead for M.Tech, Akshay Kapoor, is going to show us how you can design your infrastructure to be fully accelerator agnostics. We will pop back after that for a quick break where, we were recapping results from our live poll and questions that we may have. And, you will see a few of these pop up in our session on the right side of the video plane. So keep an eye out for those questions.
And of course, it wouldn't be a Cloud Technical Series event without giving you all the opportunity to continue learning long after we wrap up. Everyone joining us today will be eligible for 300 free training credits in Google Skills, our comprehensive catalog of labs, courses, quizzes, and more. You'll be able to complete the Agent Development Kit labs our trainer went through in yesterday's program, and many more.
And it is also worth checking out Google Cloud Innovators Program. If you want to keep it across our latest update, you get access to the new technologies, our 10 expertise. This is the one for you. And there are so many great benefits included in this program, all designed to help you up-level your skills on Google Cloud.
Okay, It's nearly time to get into it. I think we should do a quick platform overview for those who are new here.
Good call. So, folks, take your eye to the navigation bar at the top of your page. You will start with the Home tab. You'll be coming back here over the course of these 2 days to see full schedule, complete with the start time, session title, speaker details, and so on. From here, you can click Watch Live button to join each sessions. So just below that video screen is also another important button. Ask your questions here. Our Google experts are always standing by to answer your questions. So go ahead and submit anything you would like us to answer to. They will do their best to respond to you and, of course, to everyone as we go. Also, remember, you can weigh in on each other questions.
Yeah, for sure. And we also have subtitles.
Nice.
It's available in 6 languages. We have Bahasa Indonesia, Korean, traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, English captions, and for the first time, Japanese. So take your pick via the drop-down selection at the top of the watch page. Finally, the Resources tab. At the top of your screen, this is where you'll find additional links and materials that support each session, perfect for diving deeper into the content.
If you are on social media, don't forget to keep the conversation going there too. You can share any insight using the hashtag Google Cloud Tech Series. And if you stick with us for 5 or more of live session today, you will earn your special digital participation badge with 12 exciting sessions on the agenda today. You have plenty of options to earn this and also display it on your LinkedIn profile.
Okay, I think that's it. That's all the admin done. Cloud Technical Series, Gemini at Work Edition, Day 2. Let's go.
Let's go.
Please welcome the CEO of Google and Alphabet, Sundar Pichai.
Please welcome Darren Morey.
Great to see everybody. Thank you so much for coming and spending a little bit of time with us today. As you heard, my name's Darren. I have what I think is the best job in the cloud and in technology at the moment. Imagine every single day you get to wake up working with Google Cloud, Google DeepMind. You get to meet builders and founders every single day, and you get to time travel into the future. That's not a bad gig, and that's what I get to do every single day. I'm so thankful for all of you here in the room that have come to join us, and the thousands and thousands of people around the world that are watching our messages today as well. And boy, do we have an action-packed agenda for you. So when we think about the day today, we really are centering on builders and the fact that startups have really been in the core of Alphabet and in the DNA of our company from the very beginning. When you think about things like our 10x thinking, which really encourages all of us as employees to think incredibly, massively huge about what big problems we can solve. When you think about the X Moonshot Factory, which is right down the road from here, a group of people that are looking at problems and opportunities that are decades away, perhaps, and really building the technology, the leadership, and the business models to bring entirely new concepts to life. Little companies like Waymo, that, by the way, came out of our Moonshot Factory, are great examples of what startups and building and invention means to Alphabet. And frankly, even Google Cloud is an idea and a concept that early on was something all of our leaders really believed in. So thank you for being here as a startup founder, as a technologist, and as a builder. Now, we're very fond of saying that we're in minute one of the Big Bang when we think about the AI revolution. And while there's a lot happening in the industry across almost every vertical, for me, I get pretty jazzed about what's happening with generative media specifically. With the release of some of our latest technologies, you're seeing big movie studios and massive content creators completely transform the way that they're creating compelling content. If you think of the democratization of storytelling, my daughter, who's a senior at university in New York as a film major, is actually using Google technology to bring new ideas to life. Content creators on YouTube, and oh, by the way, every enterprise that now has incredibly compelling control of the content and the brand and the image, but being able to deliver things in an entirely new way. What an incredible opportunity for us to be diving into. Now, some of you may have heard of something kind of cool we've recently announced called Nano Banana. I don't like the official term, so we're going to go by Nano Banana. Nano Banana does something that we had heard customers demand, and that was, we love the iteration of the subject or the person or the brand or the identity, but as we evolve that, we're losing the efficiency of that original subject. And so what we've done with Nano Banana, I'm sure many of you have tried it. If not, you should by the end of this session. You're actually able to sustain that subject, to sustain that brand, that person, that identity through multiple iterations and evolutions of change, which imagine, if you're a big enterprise with an important brand, that gives you an entirely new way of thinking about monetizing that brand strategy. Later today, one of my favorite Googlers, Paige Bailey, is going to come out on stage and give you some really interesting and real-world examples of how you can use this technology and bring some great ideas to life. Now, don't just stop with the picture. You're able to kind of create these images and then leverage things like VO3 on Vertex with the rest of the Google Cloud platform to put life to things that once were just static images. Now, while I did ask our team who did this event to why did they put me in this outfit on the screen, with that, they did get the dog almost right. My dog Zeus, who's at home, be a little bit upset if he saw this picture, but you get the point. Really incredible things can be done with this technology. Now, we're also deeply passionate about developers, right? From the very beginning, we know that developers are the ones thinking big ideas and bringing new ideas to life. And so today, we're actually also going to be giving you a glimpse into something that some of you may have seen, our Gemini CLI technology, which is our open source AI terminal assistant. So imagine a world as a developer where you can stay in that terminal construct that you've used to be working in for a long period of time, and you're able to embed Gemini into that workflow. Imagine the efficiency as a developer and letting developers who are comfortable working in a certain way inject new innovation and new AI. We're all building with AI at the moment, and I know many of you, no matter your stage, no matter the size of your organization, are not only using AI to build products and technologies for your end customers, but you're using it internally as well. And so today is all about building. So I want to give you an idea of how we're going to be captivating your imagination and giving you new ideas over the next few minutes. Many of you may know the name David Friedberg from the incredibly popular All In podcast. If you haven't listened, I can't imagine you haven't listened, then you have to. But you should know that David's actually a Zoogler, or a former Googler. He's walked these halls before, and it's great to have him back. He's going to be on stage in a moment with Fabian of Lovable to talk about their meteoric rise in the AI industry and their obsession with developers as well. David's then going to host a really exciting high-energy discussion with both Lynn at Fireworks as well as Michele of Replit, two incredibly hot and interesting companies applying AI to change businesses and create new ways to add value to their end customers as well. With that, let me welcome David and Fabian on stage, and let's have a great time together. Thanks, everyone.
How's everyone doing? Awesome. Fabian?
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you doing yourself?
I'm all right. How long have you been in town?
2 days.
How long are you staying in town?
Until October 2nd.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So you're based in Stockholm.
I am, yes.
Your business, Lovable, for those who don't know. You want to just give us a quick...
Yeah. So Lovable is this website where you can go and you can prompt it and you can create everything from like landing pages to more complex web apps, and it's all done just through a chat interface, and you get like a preview of what you're doing, and then you can publish that and share it with people.
And would you say it's a consumer product or enterprise product or something in between?
So it's really a product that anyone can use.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of traction, especially on the prosumer side, but now getting a lot of, I would say, inbound and interest from the enterprise as well.
Yeah, it makes sense, because I think every enterprise has custom stuff they want to do.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to do it, or they can't get resources. And if you could get anyone to be able to do it, it would be a huge unlock.
Yeah, often actually it's the same person that is using it for personal use, then also realizes, hey, I should use this for work as well.
Right. Your business story is pretty incredible. I don't know if I've heard anything like this. It's one of those things of Silicon Valley lore, despite being Swedish, but 4 million in ARR in the first 4 weeks, 10 million in ARR in the first 2 months. And then in July, 8 months later, 100 million ARR. Is that all roughly?
Yeah, that's correct.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats.
We can call it Swedish lore, I think.
Swedish lore, setting a new standard. Well, it's pretty incredible. And then you raised this big round of funding in July at a big valuation. But how'd you build the business so fast? So what was the technology stack that you deployed that would allow you to service so many customers at such scale to let you do this?
Yeah, so I really started just building the thing as the first MVP, and then you just choose the things that you know how to use, and that allows you to iterate the fastest. And then as you start scaling, things start to break, and then you have to kind of choose things that help you scale better.
And people-wise, did you have to scale headcount or?
Yeah, we're around 35 engineers now. So
35.
Yeah.
So 100 million ARR plus with 35 people.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd need any more people, or?
Well, we're 70 people total.
70 people
total. We could do with a few extra hands, but I think it's possible with the people we're in now as well.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty incredible. But what changed? So as you started to scale, what did you find were kind of some of the challenges, and what did you need to kind of restructure or change in the business?
In the business or on the tech side?
Both.
Well, on the tech side, I think there is, especially on kind of the AI side of things, we work with, for example, Google, and making sure that we can actually service the need of our customers in terms of just the raw output, like getting enough tokens basically, and the capacity for that, which has been a scarce resource historically. And on the business side, for us, it's really been keeping up with the rest of the organization, because the core business has scaled so quickly that we're like, oh hey, we need someone in HR, and like these things that you don't really have too much time to think about when you're serving so many new customers every day.
What matters to the customer? Is it speed? Is it like service? I mean, what do you kind of focus on when you're thinking about prioritizing where you're investing to service this rapidly growing kind of customer base? Yeah,
so the main thing is really about the quality of the output. So when you ask Lovable for something, we should build it correctly. So that's like number one. And then after that, the speed of which we build is also extremely important. And then third, I would say the cost.
The speed at which you build, or so you mean the speed of service for the customer? Like when
well, both are very important. But I meant exactly the response time in the product.
And then sorry, the last one was security.
The last point was cost, and I would say like security is like a requirement that I would even put outside of those priorities.
Right. What does the customer look like typical? So for you, like, are you seeing folks building their own startup, building like web pages, the web apps, building standalone apps? I mean, what does this look like?
So we do have a really good mix of use cases and users. So I would say the big thing is that most of our users are non-technical, and they don't want to write the code. They might be product managers, designers, even developers that want to kind of sit back and work on a higher abstraction. And then when it comes to use cases, it's really a good mix between landing pages, SaaS applications, and internal tooling as well.
Mm-hmm. And then can you use the data from your customers to better fine-tune models and deploy better models? Or how do you think about building a moat in the business? Because there's obviously a lot of competition out there. There's a lot that's changing.
I think especially the data is extremely kind of valuable, and it helps us understand our users and improve how our product works. And it's something that it's kind of a luxury to do it at the scale that we're doing it now, to be able to really quickly get signal on any change that we make. And then long term, what we're doing now is like we're creating over 100,000 apps per day, and a lot of them is getting published and put out into production. And once you start doing that, I think that's where our business is going to move more and more towards actually servicing those existing apps that we have on our platform.
Do you view a lot of the chat providers as being competitors, or do you guys have enough of a distinction from what they're doing, where they're eventually trying to evolve into these universal, all-in-one consumer and enterprise, et cetera, type tools? Or is there value in being focused on just doing this thing very well? Like, just help understand where those guys are going to end up as competitors.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if more people move into our space, and I think that's what we've seen since we started out. That a lot of people have suddenly seeing like, oh, this lovable thing seems to be going pretty well. Let's do the same thing. And for us, it's really about just being able to serve our customers the best. And I don't try to think too much about what other people are doing. I think we're moving at a really high speed, and I think that's the most important thing. The ground in which we're building is changing, and it's not very stable. So I think being kind of small and nimble, and it's kind of what has made us succeed so far.
You raised like $200 million. What do you do with all that money?
Yeah, good question.
It's a small team.
Yeah,
like 100 million ARR. I don't know.
Yeah,
you need the money.
Well, I would say our product is. The scope of it is really big, and what we're doing now is only like the start of our bigger vision of being the last piece of software. And to do that, we want to expand into a lot of verticals and really make the experience of building software extremely seamless.
Yeah.
And right now, in terms of focus, we need to be very focused on kind of this core part of just making Lovable build the correct thing, and then that is going to expand into, hey, you need to set up a company around this, and you need to handle payments and all of these things. So we have a lot of stuff to build and deploy the capital into.
So we're at a Google event. Maybe share a little bit about how you use Google's infrastructure, how important Google's tool, and what do you value in terms of what Google's built in cloud?
Yeah, I mean, definitely Vertex and their inference that we rely on for our core experience a lot. And we've also, our entire database is in Google, and our large chunk of our backend as well. So really these kind of, I would say, serverless tools that makes it very easy, like even as a solo developer setting things up, you kind of start in a way that is also helping you scale towards millions of users.
Right. And do you think much about TPU versus GPU? It doesn't matter how tokens are served for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, with Google, we're just using their API, right? So they can sort out that detail, and we're very much happy just using a REST API.
And scalability, speed, etc., obviously matters. So you need to be able to rely on a provider to deliver that.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest part for us has just been reliability, because AI itself is a bit random. So if you have instability issues in kind of the underlying architecture, that's really bad for the product experience. So for us, like partnering with Google, for example, on being able to provide this reliably is extremely important.
Well, if you guys have not used Lovable, or your kids haven't used Lovable,
that's a big use case.
Send them. I mean, totally. Like it's incredible to give kids the ability to build web apps, to build tools, and let them feel like creators. And it's very empowering. And I think it's very valuable what you're doing. So congrats on the business. Thanks for being here. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Maybe we could just start with quick intros. I'll let you guys introduce your companies and kind of what you do. Give your introductions yourselves. It'd be great.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lynn. I'm CEO, co-founder of Fireworks. We started about 3 years ago, and we built a SaaS platform to manage the lifecycle from build, customize, to scale of your AI applications.
I'm Michele Catasta, president and head of AI at Replit, and also at Zuggler, like you, David. And Replit, we just launched a week ago what I consider the most autonomous coding agent for non-technical users. And they're capable of creating full stack application ready for production thanks to Replit.
So you guys probably both service, I would imagine, kind of what I would call AI first or AI centric startups. Maybe we could just start with that. What does an AI centric or AI first startup look like? I mean, 10 years ago, we would have never had this sort of conversation on how to build startups with AI, but I'd love to hear your point of view on what that looks like, best practices, and what the prototype is.
Yeah, we have onboarded a lot of AI native companies running on top of Fireworks. Our observation is they are thinking from the first principle side. What would extremely creative user experience look like, fully leveraging, exporting the capability of GenAI models? This capability doesn't exist before. And I would say a couple of years ago, those experiences are like moonshot experience. For example, the Replit experience. I would never imagine from the prompt you can, and from Lovable, for example, from prompt you can just create a website. You can create a lot of things. And those are never thinkable, but with GenAI, it's all possible. So the first principle thinking of what is the new user experience is the AI native startup.
Yeah, I'll tag along on what Lynn said. Of course, at this epicenter, you have AI features, enabled by frontier models. But also what makes very unique an AI native company is the fact that there is a lot of willingness to experiment and to work at a completely different pace in terms of iteration speed. What before was taking quarters or years in terms of like exploring what are the next product features you're going to be building, right now you need to follow how the frontier is being expanded by the AI labs. So we're talking about roadmaps of 6 weeks to 3 months at most. And that fundamentally changed the way in which you run an AI native company today.
And models change quickly, infrastructure tools change quickly. What are some of the ways that startups that are building need to kind of adapt and be responsive as things are moving so quickly? I mean, what are operational best practices?
Yeah, I would say in the past, the product lifecycle goes relatively in certain kind of stable pace. But now it's all changed because the model capability keeps moving up. And just last month by itself, we launched 15 state-of-the-art open weight models. And every single launch they push the different kind of frontier of various different capabilities. And then interesting thing is AI native company, they hug their product experience based on the model capability and keep moving forward. So the consequences, then the product innovation start to significantly accelerate. And the interesting thing is now product market fit doesn't mean viable business anymore. These two have become a completely decoupled concept. There are multiple reasons because even if you have product market fit, when you scale, you can easily scale into bankruptcy. And how you manage that scaling issue is a real problem. And the second is you don't have time to build enough moat to hold your user to a product because your product is just 3 months, 6 months old. And it's very easy to get copy. And how to create this mode becomes a new interesting thing. And that's kind of where data flywheel could be extremely important in that process.
What we learned in our case, especially the last 12 months, literally, since we launched the first version of our agent, is how important it is to run experiments in front of our user base. So on one end, we build a lot of evaluations offline so that we can have guarantees that the core functionality of the agents are working correctly. At the same time, there is sort of a human touch involved in building an agent where you really need to see how the user responds. You need to see what kind of experience they're having with your product. The only way to make that happen is to go in production and then immediately observe what is the reaction, what is the feedback, and very quickly have an iteration loop that allows you to fix the bugs and improve the user experience from there. So every single day at Rapid, we run tons of experiments in front of our user base. And right. I think it's necessary to do so in order to move fast.
So what do you guys see usage in consumer, in enterprise, and with respect to enterprise, how much of it is within the enterprise versus startups building for the enterprise?
We have seen across the board. It's almost like here's a big iceberg that is being formed. And this iceberg is a huge part of it is under the water because currently infrastructure cost is very expensive still. But many startups, I think they take the lead in penetrating the value creation part, so they emerge above the waterline. And enterprise are catching up, but I would say the digital natives are really waking up and they want to reinvent their pre-existing user experience, moving that into something new. That energy start to pick up a lot.
Scaled digitally native.
Scaled digital native, as in consumer-facing, developer-facing digital native companies. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For us, as you expect, most of the early adopters were just consumers, and they are willing to use a technology that is still rough on the edges, but they see the future, they see how far it can help them to become more productive. And then after that, they decide to bring it at their workplace for several different reasons. It empowers them to create software that leads to maybe creating more revenue for their company, or it leads them to run their business better, or sometimes even getting a promotion because they built something that their engineering team didn't have bandwidth to build on their behalf. And at the same time, when you create these success stories within a company, then those people become our champions. Those are the same people that go to the decision makers, the buyers, and then propose that everyone should be using Rapid in a mid-market or enterprise. And that's exactly what's happening to us today.
One thesis I've heard others talk about it, is the idea that maybe vertical SaaS will get replaced by custom workflows being built in the enterprise, and especially as the barrier to solution building is lowered. you don't need to go to the IT department, put something in the queue, and wait for 18 months from now for the project to get started. Pretty much anyone can stand up and work on a custom workflow, depending on how complex it is. Is that something you're seeing yet? Are we seeing enterprises go in and rip out vertical SaaS or build new workflow tools that don't require them going out and acquiring some vertical SaaS license?
We already see that.
Yeah.
And my policy is that we're going to be seeing a lot of the long-tail SaaS being displaced in the next couple of years.
Being displaced.
Yes. And the reason is exactly what you said. First of all, easier to build. You can create something bespoke to the needs of your company. You can build it for much cheaper. SaaS tends to be very expensive, and over time it just gets more bloated. And most of the features are usually not needed. A lot of people buy a SaaS for 5% of the feature that it offers. So even the user experience is too hard for the vast majority of employees of a company.
Totally.
So there are several advantages why I see that happening. At the same time, I don't think that the very large SaaS solutions will be displaced in the short term. They still have a reason to exist.
Or do you think in the startup world, the startup ecosystem, what sort of SaaS success stories do you think there will be in this new era?
Yeah, we have seen a lot of extremely creative ideas. For example, we are working with companies to disrupt interview process. As in, just from your job profile, they can automatically find the targeted candidates that is really good for a company, and then they can schedule automatic interview and conduct interview even for you, and then start to score them and also help you trace candidates' performance and so on, and create a feedback loop. For marketing sales, based on your ICP, they can create a targeted list for you and automatically create the best outbound email. So all of that is going to significantly automate. And we're seriously considering using those tools to help us become more productive. And that's where we see like the old way of doing many things, the CRM and like a lot of areas we're putting a lot of money is going to be significantly disrupted.
Yeah, I mean, so much of SaaS has been built to be extensible to many different verticals. And it seems like they might get out competed with lower priced alternatives that are better suited as well. But your comment makes me think about someone doing an interview and then they put their AI agent on the interview and then the AI talks to the AI. And then whether or not the AI gives the other AI the job, I think. I'm waiting for the moment when the first AI to AI job interview happens.
So we have already changed our coding interview practice because, hey, you can easily use a coding, using a coding copilot is okay. Yeah. That's the new norm.
Michele, I heard Dario at Anthropic has said this several times. He was at an interview this week at a conference, and he said in the next 3 to 6 months, AI is writing 90% of the code. In 12 months, nearly all code may be generated by AI. Do you think that's true? Where do you kind of see the code writing by AI kind of bifurcate? Humans are needed. AI plays a role.
Maybe I'm going to disagree on the numbers, but I think it's directionally correct. And what's going to happen is there is a long tail of software being created in the world, 24/7. The long tail doesn't require a lot of sophistication. And I do believe that very soon it will be replaced predominantly by agent creating that software. At the same time, companies like Google that really push the boundaries of what can be done with software, they will still require top engineers in the world. They will be aided by AI. So of course, a lot of those lines will be initially created by a model, and then they will be reviewed, they will be vetted, they will be modified by an engineer in order to really fit exactly what they're thinking about. So that number is only bound to grow, and I think it's not going to disrupt the way in which very large tech-focused companies work, but it's going to disrupt the software functions of companies that are not focused on tech.
Right. Lynn, do you see infrastructure scaling challenges ahead? So as you think about the demand curve out in the world, and given your business as an infrastructure or tools provider, as service provider, what's the demand curve look like relative to the capacity we have and how we're going to meet that capacity?
So I would say at the beginning of this year, we face a severe challenge of scaling because we have never seen kind of the demand has grown so much faster, and we have to kind of grow and build on top of many more CSPs in order to tap into existing capacity. But I will warn everyone that 2026 is going to be a huge capacity crunch year across the whole entire industry. Because we are running out of chips, running out of parts, running out of power and data center space. And then it's going to be a huge efficiency year, as in with constrained resource, whoever can extract the most efficiency and support the biggest amount of user adoption is going to have a lot of upside in winning this game. So that's what kind of, I think, across the board, from the big incumbents to even startups, as they anticipate a huge amount of growth ahead of them, start to put a lot of effort in efficiency.
Yeah. If you were to start, I'll start with Michele. If you were to start a company today, this is a startup audience. Here and online, and you were to use Fireworks and Replit and other third-party tools, what startup would you build? What would you do? You're an aspiring entrepreneur, you're a young person, you want to build something new. What do you build?
I'll probably give a cheesy answer, but the truth is, I've been fixated with this problem for a decade of my professional career, and I can see myself doing something much different. So probably I would be having a different ICP in mind. Replit is very challenging because we are targeting non-technical users, like every knowledge worker in the world. So it's probably the most ambitious mission that I could have in mind. Perhaps I would target developers to begin with, but I feel this is my mission right now. So it's very exciting to enable everyone to create software.
Yeah, so I would say I have the biggest amount of fun in the past 3 years, onboarding so many creative startups and see them like take off like crazy, and working with digital native and even traditional enterprise to reinvent the wheel. I wouldn't imagine I would do anything other than Fireworks again. I would literally go back in time and do this company again.
And what do you think is going to change in the next 12 months? So based on the ramp up we're seeing in capability with the models, with the infrastructure, with the tools that are out there, 12 months from now, what does building a startup look like, and how is that different from today?
I'm really excited about autonomy. The fact that agents are going to be capable of running for even longer and being able to accomplish long horizon goals without any human supervision. The reason why I'm excited about it is because, as you can imagine, you can dispatch a lot of tasks that are needed by your company. They will be accomplished overnight for you. And then you come back in the morning, review the results, check a dashboard, and then go on with your day. I think it's going to really multiply the throughput of any even small company out there in 12 months.
I'm very biased. I think the new startup a year later is all mostly going to build on top of startups.
Build on
top of current startups.
Build on top
because like us, we are building for the future, new innovative ideas, and we're building a new ecosystem that's gonna create a new space and a new way to be productive and to leverage existing technologies in a completely different way. So I think that's changing already.
Yeah, makes me jealous. I wish I started my first company today instead of
when I. It's never too late.
Never too late.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much for being here. Please join me in thanking them.
Greetings, everyone. It's so exciting to be here today at our very first AI Builders Forum, where I get to work with all of y'all, startup founders who are building the future, often with our Google DeepMind models and, of course, with Google Cloud. So today, I am very jazzed to show you a couple of the things that we've just recently incorporated into AI Studio. And of course, if y'all aren't familiar already with AI Studio, it is really the best place to go to get access to DeepMind's models as soon as they come out. We've been in the busy process of integrating as many Google Cloud features as we can. Just show of hands, how many people have already experimented with Nano Banana, aka Gemini 2.5 Flash Image Preview? Awesome. If you haven't, I strongly encourage it. You can kind of create images, edit images, and we'll be seeing a little bit of that in the demo just now. So to use build, I'm going to navigate over to this puzzle piece that we see on the left. I'm going to go ahead and paste in a prompt instead of typing it out. Maybe paste in just one instance of it as opposed to two. And I assume that all of y'all are busily trying to design swag for your companies. You might be trying to create marketing assets. So for this app, what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe in natural language. I want to take in a product. I want to take in a logo. I'm going to describe a character in a scene. And I want to use Gemini 2.5 Flash Image Preview, aka Nano Banana, to stitch it all together into something that I can use either as part of my website or as kind of an imagination ideation image for all of my customers. So that was a lot of words. I'm going to go ahead and click this up arrow to run the prompt. And immediately we're launched into kind of this step-by-step instruction pane where we can see all of the thinking traces of Gemini 2.5 Pro as it builds out and architects this design for an app. So if you ever played SimCity 2000 or something similar, it feels really like that sort of beginning screen where it talks about reticulating splines before it gives you a city. This is very much just kind of giving you an under the hood look into all of the things that are associated with building this app using AI Studio and using the Gemini APIs. Since this is baked into AI Studio, we're using the latest Gen AI SDK and features. So if we ask for code to be generated using Gemini, it's using the latest models. As opposed to something that might have been subject to a training data cutoff. The code is getting generated off to the right. Right now it's building a React app. We also support Angular. You can see this file explorer here in the middle where all of the files are getting added. And we've also just recently added a feature where you can save the app to GitHub, either in a public or a private repo. So all of this is being done behind the scenes. If we need additional prompts, Gemini is being used to generate those. And we're also sort of making sure that as this app is getting created, it's incorporating the best practices for things like Cloud Run and the like. Awesome. So it looks like we have this first iteration of the app. I'm going to go ahead and upload a product. So this bandana, I'm going to click there, and we're going to upload a logo as well. A unicorn for Kinetic Minds. I'm going to describe a subject, so maybe world's cutest labradoodle. I apologize if there are any cat people in the audience. And then the scene is maybe a sunny day in Dubose Park in San Francisco, which is always the best place to find the cutest puppies. So hopefully, fingers crossed, what's going to happen is that Gemini 2.5 Flash Image Preview is going to kind of cobble all of these things together into a single image. So we've got the bandana, we've got the dog, amazing, and we can go ahead and deploy it. So I'm going to go ahead and click this Deploy App button. I'm going to select a Google Cloud project, and then I am going to go ahead and click to deploy the app. What's happening behind the scenes is that logging, storage, Cloud Run is all getting provisioned on Google Cloud. And even better, all of it is being put into a URL that you can go and test out and run yourself. If you wanted to try out the app, please do test it out, but just be aware that this is using my personal Google Cloud account. So don't run up my bill too awful much, please. This is, you can see that I perhaps have kind of like a problem deploying apps via AI Studio. So if you can see a Pokemon card generator and then this Nano Banana Ad Fusion that we just released, if I click on it, you can see kind of the logs associated with the model, the uptime, the different people as they're trying it out and testing it out. And all of the unified billing just in one place. And really, this is the only, one of the things that I love about all of these integrations with Google Cloud and AI Studio is that we're really the only place where all of these component pieces come together. We have these great models that are being used to vibe code apps to build the future, but we also have this tight integration with Google Cloud. We're taking care of all of the struggle and the challenges of scaling out apps, so you don't have to. You can concentrate on your business, on solving user problems, as opposed to having to handle all of the infrastructure, or wrangle all of the infrastructure, and it's all kind of composed together in this really beautiful way. So it's never been easier to go from having a prompt or having an idea to creating a full-fledged app and scaling it out globally. There's never been a better time to start building, and we really can't wait to see what you build.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Google Cloud Technical Series for APAC. My name is Deependra, and I am from the Google Cloud Venture Capital Partnerships business. In a world being reshaped by artificial intelligence, the playbook for building and scaling a company is being rewritten in real time. So how do you find growth? How do you build a defensible business? And what does it take to become a market leader? To help us navigate these questions, we are incredibly privileged to have Priyank Swaroop, partner of one of the world's most respected venture capital firms, Accel Partners. Priyank has been at the forefront of investing in and helping build category-defining startups across sectors. Priyank, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Deependra. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the Google team to have me. And it's always a pleasure talking to you and your viewers.
Thank you for joining us, Priyank. Accel has been instrumental in backing iconic companies in Asia Pacific and globally. Before we dive deep into the generative AI wave, could you please share a bit about Accel's philosophy and your investment focus?
Yeah, so Accel is a multi-stage VC firm. We have invested in companies from pre-product all the way to pre-IPO. So that's what we do. Investment check sizes range from $500,000 all the way to $200 million. We have invested in companies in APAC, companies like Freshworks, to all the way in Australia in Atlassian. And we still hold a board position in Atlassian as well as in Freshworks. So that gives you some sense of the scope where we're investing in. With respect to specific to generative AI, we are investors in a large number of companies, including Anthropic, Perplexity, Cursor, Lovable, N8N, and in APAC region, we have done investments like Bridgetown and Emma and Rocket, and we are on the lookout for many more such companies. We're excited to be on the podcast and talking to all your viewers about it.
No, thank you for that. Accel has a pretty impressive list of investments in generative AI, and you are clearly one of the leading investors in the space. So Priyank, when you look at new investments today, how has the definition of a high growth company changed in the age of generative AI? Are the traditional measures of metric like user acquisition, engagement, and early revenue being fundamentally altered by AI native products? And if yes, how so?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. There's a two-part answer to this. So with generative AI, there's this ascent of product-led growth companies. Your company is getting to 100 million plus ARR within a year of launch, even sometimes in 6 to 9 months. We had Cursor, which went to $500 million of revenue in like 12 to 18 months. So that particular motion of PLG-led growth has really, really captured the imagination of VCs as well as founders. And I think that's happening because such new products, everybody's trying to find online, and people can just search and get that product and start buying it. So that is definitely a big VC, I would say, distraction or attraction, you could call it either way, that those companies get a disproportionate amount of interest. And, in that world, 3x growth every year is not good enough. It has become more 10x growth. But then you have this old, I would not say old, but new set of companies which are disrupting existing industries more in the traditional SaaS way, where you have to do enterprise sales. I think there, the same things still continue as it was pre-generative AI, only the products have changed. Maybe the biggest metric which has changed in the business is just pricing. So instead of seat pricing, it's becoming more usage pricing based. I think that's the shift we are seeing in the two segments. But yeah, today a lot of the hype is around PLG-led companies.
Yeah, and if PLG-led companies can deliver 10x growth or are expected to deliver 10x growth, we are definitely in a very, very different environment today.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So, when founders are building companies, a key debate right now is on defensibility. And, defensibility is key when you have to deliver that kind of growth. So some worry about startups just building a wrapper around a foundational model. And I know you have a very unique say on this, while some others are focusing on building industry and application-specific moats. In your view, what constitutes a true AI moat in 2025? Is it proprietary data, a unique GTM strategy that leverages AI, primarily leading to PLG, network effects, or something else that founders should be focused on?
World is changing so fast. Business models are getting disrupted. You have incumbents who have all the data in the world, who have all the customers in the world. So how does a startup which is starting off, build a moat? And I think the first phase of AI, like a couple of years back, it's like a couple of years back is first phase. It's so funny. At that time, it was like, hey, let's have proprietary models. Let me build my own model. And I think that particular thing has proven to be wrong, because the proprietary models have now become a very capex heavy game, and you just have to use existing models from, let's say, OpenAI or from Anthropic or from Google. I think those are clear winners. And then within that, my belief is, how do you get to customer value fastest possible? I think that's a key thing. While building defensibility, so forth, in my mind, there are 5 pillars. And the first pillar is essentially, do you understand your customer very well? People forget in all of this hype that, hey, you have to still listen to the customer. You have to spend time. You have to have customer insights which are differentiated. And do you understand your customer well compared to your competitors? I think that is the first. That insight is a moat. Like you should be able to build that out. The second, definitely in the AI world, is data. I think it's not hidden. Everybody knows you can fine-tune models better if you have better data. You can train models better. You can have, people are now talking about SFT. So those dynamics play into picture. The one interesting paradigm which we have seen is some of the companies are starting to use out of the gate synthetic data. They don't want to wait for getting customer data too much. They just use synthetic data to get to that high accuracy, very high in the beginning. Third is user experience. So customers don't know what to expect, to be honest. So it's the entire it's an opportunity for the company to set up the experience what they want for the customer, and the customer likes it. You are in. They will love you quite a bit, and you can be. And sometimes it's just being first to market. Third is unique GTM. So we have seen companies doing PLG, but there are companies who have tied up with existing incumbents in the space they are going in, and existing incumbents partner because they want to be relevant in the AI world. There is a double-edged sword, though. Sometimes we have seen examples where existing incumbents, after getting traction with the startup, just cut out the product and build their own product. But it just allows the startup to go faster. So it's a little bit tricky. I think the last, for a lot of APAC companies, and especially in India, the big thing is forward deployed engineers or customer success through customer service. AI is not perfect. And if you can set up people who can help customers adopt and do better with your product, it's fine. I think a lot of VCs are open to the fact that having customer success could make the company scale faster. So I think those are the 5 pillars I would say people should think about.
Yeah, thank you for that, Priyank. I couldn't agree with you more. Having your team work very closely with the customer for implementation, for integration, and being there as a success team is very, very important. Which brings me to my next question. For the founders and operators in our audience, what are the most compelling use cases you are seeing where AI is not just an efficiency tool, but a fundamental driver for product-led growth? How are the best companies using AI to create magical user experiences that drive both adoption and retention?
I mean, there's so many things where a startup can use AI, right? So I think it's pervasive, to be honest. It's starting from customer research, product management. So AI in customer research, AI in product management, AI in coding, AI in testing, AI in customer success, AI in customer support, AI in sales. I think it's everywhere. We're starting to see companies which are trying to be very, very efficient and just thinking through a lot of those things right in the beginning. The biggest bang for the buck has been AI for coding, of course, because people are coming out and saying, hey, I can do prototyping very quick. I just use Lovable. I can use Cursor for coding very fast, and I don't need to hire very senior engineers or just senior engineers, not lower teams, and deliver value to the customer super fast. So I think those are the things which are a paradigm shift today. Magical experiences, I think it comes down to the customer insights which we are talking about, and that's nothing to do with AI. It's more of execution. If you have the insight, how will you execute with AI? That's what I believe. Yeah.
So you spoke about moats, you spoke about building defensibility. Building a strong moat is one thing, that's probably the beginning, but scaling it is another challenge. And building a global AI company from day one is a huge ambition, which I know Excel supports very closely. So what are the unique friction points you see when an AI startup tries to expand beyond its home market? Say from Asia to the US? Is it about data gravity? And you said people are using synthetic data. Is it model bias, localization, or simply the talent required to sell a complex AI solution in a new region? And what is the role that Excel plays in helping founders scale globally?
No, thank you for asking that. I think so. I've been a VC for 14 years, and I find extremely smart folks from APAC, and they are very successful in their countries, and then go to the US market or European markets, and suddenly they start failing. And I have been racking my brains around it. Hey, why is this happening? And what I realized is it's a very, very simple thing. In India, if let's say any startup founder wants to even talk to the prime minister, the highest person in the country, they will probably be able to get a connect within 2 to 3 networks, 2 to 3 hops, you'll get it in any country you take it. But when you land in another country, like US or Europe or anywhere of any of those geographies, you don't have the local networks. You don't know anybody. So the same problem you can't solve easily. And that is the single biggest friction point for most APAC startups. It's not about product. I think everybody can build a great product. I think it comes down to being able to get in front of your customer, knowing who the right customer is. You don't have credibility in that market. You don't have trust in that market. And how do you get that? I think that becomes it's the single biggest friction point. It's not even AI, actually, to be honest. The second thing which we've seen with AI specific companies in the last couple of years is starting to become data privacy and data localization. So people are especially regulated industries, enterprise customers want their data to reside within their private cloud. Enterprise customers don't want any data to be used for training of any of the proprietary models. So how does a company create a product using these boundary conditions? And what we have seen is companies are tying up with hyperscalers and going to market with them, or trying to create solutions within the private cloud hosting within your own private cloud of the customer, or using open source models so that it can be self-hosted within the IT boundary of the customer. I think, but these are the 3 which we've seen quite a bit. To the extent sometimes we've seen companies getting shortchanged if their headquarters are in APAC, and I don't like it. But people are like, hey, we don't want to work with a company in APAC. You need to have HQ in the US. I find quite strange. But some of the companies working with regulated industries have seen that. And then I think the third challenge, again, it's not new. These are more mistakes. So because of all of these things, most founders tend to hire somebody in those geographies. And it's almost like an axiom. The first hire is always wrong in sales because founders don't know how to hire sales folks. Most of the sales folks tend to have very good personalities. They tend to oversell themselves. Founder thinks he's a great person. You are not able to do good diligence on that sales guy because you don't have local networks. So it takes founders typically and sometimes 2 hires, failed hires, time spent is like almost a year, time wasted is almost a year before they get to the right guy they need for hiring. So these are the typically 3 problems which I've seen in APAC startups scaling into international markets. PLG obviously is completely beyond that. PLG has its own set of issues where founders and teams in the APAC region don't have a lot of PLG experience. So I've seen companies trying to get consultants from the US markets, which have done this before.
When a company lands a customer, after that, the real journey starts, and you have to continuously keep on innovating, especially in the age of Gen AI. So we see founders debating whether to build a centralized AI center of excellence within their organizational structure or embed AI talent directly into product teams. This talent can even be sitting very closely to the customer's teams, in terms of where the product is deployed. So from your vantage point, which organizational model creates a more durable innovation engine and a higher velocity of innovation, especially to keep up with the kind of growth expectations that investors have? And what's the key difference between a company that simply uses AI versus one that continuously innovates and is AI native?
The center of excellence for AI has been a concept which has started coming out in the last couple of years. And I think it applies more to more mature startups rather than early stage startups. So you are already existing, you're already at scale, you want to make sure everybody's doing their own thing, but your product needs data compliance, data privacy, IT control, security, and everything. And you can't so there is some sort of central control needed for all of this. You don't want a model sprawl. You want to understand what's my cost. Why am I spending so much money on each of these proprietary models? That's where COE comes in. But I think for majority of companies and startups, I would say you just need to start with embedding AI. Just hire people who know AI in each of these, like how to use AI in product, how to use AI in prototyping, how to use AI in engineering, how to use AI in marketing, how to use AI in sales. We're starting to see talent who already has used some of this in their previous companies, just hired those guys. And so they build teams ground up with that knowledge. And then it allows velocity of the company to go very fast. Because you want to deliver customer value first. Once you've delivered customer value, once you've raised, let's say, tens of millions of dollars, then you can start thinking of centralizing some of this. But till that point of time, it's okay because you want flexibility in each of these teams to make decisions. You don't want to be the person who's controlling all of this innovation. So I've seen that model seem better. It seems a little crazy because somebody will be using GPT, somebody will be using Anthropic, but I think whatever is comfortable for your team, what they learn, just go with that.
So the fundraising landscape for AI startups seems to be at a fever pitch. So how do you as an investor separate the genuine breakthroughs from the hype? For the founders who are listening in the audience today, what are the key signals or metrics you look for in an early stage AI company that suggest true potential for market leadership beyond just a compelling narrative?
Yeah, I think it's a very every day we meet these startups who are getting to like 2 to 3 million ARR in 1 month or 2 months, and then now we're starting to see companies getting scaling very fast. There are companies that are adding $1 million of revenue every month. But interestingly enough, our investment committee conversations are slightly different. They're like, hey, even with this, is this growth durable? Is this a flash in the pan? And that we need to figure out and answer. So the fundamentals on some of this underwriting of these companies hasn't really changed that much. Only the expectations or metrics have changed. So it starts off with, first and foremost, does the founder understand the customer pain? Are they doing a painkiller or a vitamin? I know this is like a thing oft repeated in VC, but that is the first core part of it. Then we move on to market sizing and saying, okay, let's say they solve this problem, but is it valuable enough to create a large business? And by large business, I'm talking about in APAC context, let's say 100 to 200 millions of revenue in 5 to 7 years. I think that's the expectation. Then from there, it comes down to saying, okay, can we validate the tech? It's an interesting problem. It's a problem. It's an interesting solution. Let's look at the solution. Is what is the moat in this solution? What is the tech? How are you solving it? It is all the things which you talked about in moats. What part of all of this? I think that becomes super important. Then comes the vision of the founder. So this is today's product. How is the founder thinking of a large business? Like one of the things I've realized over a period of time is most companies to become large need to have multiple products. So you have sold the first product into the customer. Now, what are the second, third, fourth, fifth product you could sell? Are you going to become the operating system of record where you are not going to go out? There's going to be higher retention. I think that becomes an interesting thing. And then the last point which we discussed is ability to sell. Like you're selling in APAC, Can you go and sell internationally? Is your model amenable to PLG? I think those kind of things come in. So to be honest, the underwriting of AI companies is a little bit more still traditional. It's not changed dramatically, because we have seen companies who are, let's say, led by AI researchers. They did raise hundreds of millions of dollars, but didn't go anywhere because they could not solve customer pain or they could not know how to sell, and they got acquired for a variety of reasons. So I think that's the way the cookie crumbles.
So for this generative AI age, how should founders think about valuation and the amount of capital to raise at early stages? Is it a go big or go home market? You said yes, one segment is, the other segment is not, and there has been space for lean, capital efficient AI startups to thrive. But how should companies at early stages think about valuation and the amount they need to raise?
I think one of the biggest things generative AI has done is free up the founder from raising too much capital, to be honest. I've seen so many companies now where one or two founders, like less than 10 member teams, and have tens of millions of revenue. And I think that's a refreshing change. From a founder perspective, you don't need to then raise VC capital. In the last few quarters, we've seen a couple of companies, single founder, have been acquired for 100 million plus by one of these more funded companies. That's a super great outcome for the founder, right? So I think more efficient startups is the way to go is one. But the moment you raise VC capital, it is turning out to be a go big or go home kind of mentality most VCs come in with, because you need to become the number one player in that industry. You need to be the biggest one, and you need to beat out the competition. So I think it comes down to that. So be very clear, raise VC capital when you can show that, and you will get funding mostly only when that is possible. So yeah.
And for the folks who want to go big or go home and who want to raise VC capital, when an AI founder is on the other side of the table, what kind of questions should they be asking VCs to differentiate a truly strategic partner from a purely financial one? What's the value add they should be looking for in this AI-driven world that VCs should bring to the table?
I think you're right. So I think the question, let's go back to the friction points, right? The biggest friction was access to international markets. And that's where Axel shines, for example. We do partnerships. We take our companies to the US. We know a lot of CIOs in the US. We help enable getting the first few design partners. We help enable getting you few accounts in the beginning, which we help in marketing, how to do PR. A lot of that go-to-market motion is what we have tried to solve. And we have in India now, close to 18, 19 years of experience on how to do it for most of the startups from here. That's what we bring to the table. Plus, we have a global partnership, which has local connect. So you need access to, let's say, solving a very difficult problem on OpenAI or Gemini. We know the local team members. We have close collaboration with each one of them. And then we can help you get access to that. And third is hiring. So we have teams in India, teams in the US, which help you hire locally. And we have this roster of executives, which we go through and help you quickly. So we know they have performed well in an older company and they'll do well. So it just helps in increasing speed. And I think those things add up for a founder.
Priyank, this has been incredibly insightful. I would like to leave our audience with a forward-looking thought. So looking ahead a few years, what is the one bold prediction you have for AI-driven businesses? And what is the single most important piece of advice you would like to give to a founder who wants to build an enduring company in this era?
Founders have to change the mindset of, this is my customer and this is what I'm going to build given existing technology. The way the technology is evolving, you have to really estimate and take a bet that 1 year later, technology will be in this phase and I am going to create a product which uses that technology, that sophisticated technology. Otherwise, somebody else will create you and take advantage of that and you will be left behind. So you become irrelevant because you were just using older technology. That is what is happening in the current world today. So and it's very scary for founders because founders are like, I don't even know if this will happen. And I have conversations, hey, you raise capital from us. Don't think about that. Don't think about old tech. You will get disrupted. So think about the future. I think it's a very new mentality. Old mentality was fine in the second. Now coming to the more interesting bit, I was thinking prediction for the future, I think is a hard one. There are a couple of them. I can tell you what I really want, what I really want is just somebody creating a calorie burning AI, some hardware device which allows me to become thinner and let me eat whatever I want. That's what I would really, really want. I would love to back something like that. I think but the more realistic one might be that all the phones we use, I think the phones will go away in the short order.
That's a great wish list to have. I also want to lose some calories. But thank you, Priyank, for sharing your valuable insights and real world experiences with us today. Excel is a phenomenal VC and always a great partner to startups. It's inspiring to see how you are enabling founders from India and Asia Pacific build and scale innovative products in some of the best startups globally. Thank you to our audience also for joining us. I hope you found this session informative.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine Wang, Gen AI Solution Lead here at Google APAC. Welcome to the Cloud Technical Series. Today, we're going to talk about the AI Launchpad, specifically how you can get from idea to impact with Gen AI safely, repeatedly, and at scale. You will see how teams in APAC are standardizing on Vertex AI to move faster without breaking the governance. My goal is when you work out, you know exactly which workloads to start and how to shift your product in weeks. So let's set the stage. What took us here, and where is this entire field heading? And more importantly, why is this happening right now? Gen AI changes so fast that by the time you hear my talk, it's already outdated. This relentless pace creates a huge challenge for enterprise. How do you build a stable, secure application on a foundation that is constantly shifting beneath your feet?
Craving
So
so
let's look
big,
at a
it feels
30-second
larger than
commercial.
life? A craving for the perfect burger, the perfect fries, and the ultimate ketchup to bring it all together? Introducing Sunstone, a premium crafted ketchup made from heirloom tomatoes. It's time to bring that epic flavor back to reality. Sunstone Ketchup, unreal taste for real life. Ever have a craving so big, it feels larger than life?
Move to the next one. Okay. How amazing is this one? Can you believe this is all from Gen Media and Gemini 2.5? Just imagine, before Gen AI, you're probably going to spend thousands of dollars in generating ads like this. But with VO3 and Gemini 2.5, you can achieve this within a couple of hundreds of dollars. So This perfect combination of understanding the text and generating a vivid, high-quality video is a completely new workflow for you to do your text storytelling. You can start with a text prompt in Gemini, refine your visual concept with an image, and then bring the entire thing in live with VO3. You can scale your video content, create endless high-quality localized variation, and do it in a way that has never been possible before. So we have this incredible new creative potential. But as an enterprise architect and business leader, how do we actually harness it? The challenge is that this innovation is also creating chaos. It feels like there is a new model being released every single day from Google, from our partners, and from the open source community. Which one's the best? Which one's the cheapest? And which one is the right for my specific task? So our customer always tell us three things. Scalable. How can we effectively manage and scale our ML operation to be production grade? Flexible. How can we choose the right model for our specific use case? And balance the performance, speed, and cost. Build on trust. How can we ensure our response are factual, grounded in my own data, safe, and build with enterprise readiness? Click is not. Vertex AI is designed precisely for this. It provides the scalability of Google's infrastructure. It gives you the flexibility to choose any model from our model garden. And it's built on trust with enterprise-grade security, safety, and grounding, which we will explore through our agent builder. Let's double-click on the platform itself. What does Vertex AI actually do for you? So at its simplest, Vertex AI is the bridge that turns a powerful AI model into useful business outcomes. It's a complete platform, the MLOps layer that handles all the difficult works for you. The tuning, the adapting, the monitoring, the evaluation, the orchestration, and the optimization. So your team can focus on building the application, not the underlying infrastructure. So now let's look at how Vertex AI solved the flexibility problem. This is our experimental model optimizer. So instead of you as the developer have to guess, oh, should I use Gemini Flash on this simple query, or should I just point this hard one to Gemini Pro? You just point your application to a single meta endpoint. You tell Vertex what you care about, prioritizing the cost or prioritizing the quality, or in a balanced way. So Vertex AI will intelligently route the prompt to the right model for the job. It is the platform-level optimization simplified for you. Vertex also gives you a full spectrum of the option to customize this model for your own data. Prompt Optimizer helps you to adapt and translate prompt across the target. When you need a durable gain, supervised fine-tuning gives you a higher upper bound quality than the lightweight adapter, and fully customized to your domain. So you bring your data, and the entire process is managed serverless, and you're only paying for the training compute only. Text, image, audio are all supported. Or if you are a big fan of the open source model, you can do a full fine-tuning. Pick up the base model, and it's giving you a full control and ownership of the result fine-tuned model, which you can also deploy on a serverless endpoint inside of Vertex AI. When a pilot becomes business critical and your boss really loves your idea, this is the time for you to scale. We address the scalable pillar, while pay-as-you-go is a great option for you to test your idea or doing some development. Enterprise really need a guaranteed performance. Provision throughput gives you a dedicated capacity, an enterprise-grade SLA, and predictable pricing. So you can be confident that your application will perform when you need it the most. Let's say in a few weeks of time, the Christmas period. Finally, it is all about build with Google Cloud's enterprise-ready foundation. This means you get global availability, data location, control of the sovereignty, ML processing, and the ability to build and scale your AI application with the same security standard and compliances you're expecting from all our cloud services. So we talk about the platform. Now let's look at the pains on